Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Dwayne Kimball, United States Army veteran and retired VA rating specialist. In today's video, I'm going to be discussing, can you have multiple ratings for the knee, the hip, and the elbow? I'm going to break it down for you, so make sure you stick around. Before we get into today's video, as always, make sure you go out to my website, pick up my new book, VA Claim Success. If you purchase it through the website, I will send you a signed copy. So, can you have multiple ratings for the knee, the hip, and the elbow? And the answer is yes. You can be rated for multiple ratings for these joints. Okay. Now, as a former rater, I've service-connected veterans under 3 different ratings for the knee, for the hip. Okay. So let's go ahead and get into it. Slide number 1. Here in slide number 1, put this together because I wanted you to see the separate ratings that you can be assigned for the knee, the hip, and the elbow, the diagnostic codes that can be used. So let's just start with the knee. 5260 and 5261. 5260, leg limitation of flexion. 5261, limitation of extension. Now, there was another diagnostic code a few years ago where it was instability, lateral instability, okay? Now, they no longer have that, so I don't think, well, if the diagnostic code is not there, you can't get service connected for that, for any condition, okay? Now, what I've seen as an example for the knee, they may have 10% for flexion and 0% for extension, okay? Let's move down to the hip. You have 5251, 5252, 5253, extension, flexion, and impairment of abduction. Okay, now, when the rater gets the exam back and they put the range of motion in the VBMS-R, it will tell the rater, give 10% for flexion, 0% for extension, 0% for abduction under 5253, okay? Now, moving down to the elbow, same thing. 5206, 5207, 5213, flexion, extension, and then you have pronation, all right? You can get 10% for flexion, 0% for extension, and then maybe 0% for supination, okay? It just depends on the range of motion, okay? All joints, range of motion. Once you get 10%, you have to take 10% off the table in order to get the increased range of motion, not severe pain or extreme pain, okay? Under VA's eyes, pain is pain. Let's keep moving. Slide number 2. Here in slide number 2, I just want to show you the range of motion for the elbow, forearm, and the knee flexion and extension. Okay, it's very important because when you go to a CMP exam for any joint, you heard me talk about in some other videos where I talk about joints, they're going to measure that range of motion. It will determine if they service connect you, that will determine if you get a 0, 10, 20, or 30. Again, limited range of motion that doesn't meet the 20% criteria for that joint, and you have pain, 10%. In order to get to 20, you have to have more reduced range of motion. So these are the examples of the range of motion, okay? Moving right along, slide number 3. This is for the hip, okay? This is how they measure the hip. So these are some things. This is another reason why you want to get educated, because when you get into these exams and they put you in these different positions, they're they're measuring it, okay? This is the diagram. This is from the VA's website, okay? This is where I got it from. It's very important. Now, for the shoulder and back, we're not talking about those, but they do have range of motion diagrams for those as well. All right, let's keep going. Next slide. Now, this is the 38 CFR. I've used it before in a recent video, but it's 38 CFR 4.46, accurate measurement. Accurate measurements of the length of stumps, excursion of joints, dimensions, and location of scars with respect to landmarks should be insisted on. Should be insisted on. By who? Obviously the veteran insisting the VA examiner to do it the right way. The use of I'm gonna try to pronounce this because somebody said I was pronouncing it wrong. Goniometer. I think I got that right. Somebody let me know if you're a medical professional. Did I get that right? Goniometer, not gonometer. All right. The use of a goniometer, I just messed it all up again, in the measurement of limitation of motion is indispensable in examinations conducted within the Department of Veterans Affairs. So I showed you the different diagnostic codes that you can be service connected for the knee, the hip, and elbow. Also, the range of motion, the 38 CFR that governs how they're supposed to measure the range of motion, okay? So you can have 3 different diagnostic codes. You can be service connected under the hip and elbow for 3 different diagnostic codes. Okay, as a former Raider, I've granted service connection for the hip, for example, using 3 different diagnostic codes. Okay, now, when you start getting more increases up to that 30 or 40% for both sides, as a Raider, you have to be careful because now you're entering into that pyramiding. Okay, so pyramid, that's a whole nother video, okay? But it's more so for the Raider to figure out, not you, okay? But at the end of the day, this video, I just want to show you, hey, can you be service connected under those 3 different joints for multiple diagnostic codes? The answer is yes. What does that range of motion look like? How are they supposed to measure the range of motion? Now, just as a quick bonus, if you decide to go out to a private DBQ, you got your VA claims folder, all that stuff, evidence, VHA progress notes if you get treatment at the VA, and you decide to go to the VA's website, print off, let's just say a DBQ for any of these joints, all right? And you go to your doctor. That doctor is going to have to annotate on that DBQ that they measured the range of motion using a goniometer, goniometer, okay? They have to put that on there. Now, if I was going through the process again, I would have them put it on there multiple times. That way, it could help prevent the rater from saying, oh, it's insufficient. The doctor didn't use that measuring tool. Yes, they did. They annotated it on every single page. Even in the remarks section, they noted it. They even put it in the evidence review section. All of that, okay? So you're just being a little bit proactive. Should you have to be overkill with it? No. But here recently, a lot of raters are missing the little things like that, okay? So you want to help them out. Just ask your doctor, hey, put it in there more than once to be on the safe side, okay? So again, make sure you invest the time and to get educated on what you're doing with your claim, the condition you're claiming, how you're claiming it, what VA regulations may pertain to what you are doing. That is key. Do not leave it up to a consulting company. Do not leave it up to a VSO. Do not leave it up to a claims agent, and definitely do not leave it up to a lawyer. This is your claim. It is your ultimate responsibility, because the more you put in, the more you're going to get out. Okay? So with that being said, make sure you like, subscribe, hit that notification button, and don't forget to share this video with your fellow veterans. Thank you.